Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we have information overload. This happens anytime there's a Ripple, Swell, or any kind of big event going on. I'm going to start here. Zach Rector, he interviewed the CEO of iTrust Capital, Kevin Maloney, at Swell, and we've got a confirmation that yield is coming to iTrust Capital right here.
This year, yeah. Now everybody's excited about yield, and you guys just announced yield for Bitcoin and then also staking for Ethereum and Solana. By the way, this can be done in your tax-advantaged or tax-free crypto IRA or in the premium custody account as well. And everybody wants to know on this channel when XRP yield.
It's a priority for us. Part of our meetings here this week are literally to speak about different groups and some due diligence we're doing on potentially participating in some products that we think would be interesting to you, your community, and then of course the $1.5 billion worth of XRP we hold under custody on the platform at iTrust Capital. It's literally our top priority. We need to measure 5 times and cut once. We've met with lots of groups. We've passed on a few concepts and ideas, but I think we're getting close on some things that could be interesting. As a former compliance person, I need to make sure it's reasonable, transparent, safe, less risky than other opportunities we've seen. And then with proper disclosure, we're going to make some things available at some point in the near future, and people can opt in or not. But we hear loud and clear, XRP yield, not having to sell their basis, is really interesting. And so we're looking heavily at that. It's right now our number one priority.
Yeah. Number one priority. Now, we've been watching like the balancer attack. We're seeing all these DeFi attacks and hacks. That's why I keep telling you, I am not doing anything other than keeping my XRP safe, and I am waiting on someone like iTrust Capital to provide yield on my XRP, because like you just heard him say, he comes from a compliance background. So this guy has, iTrust Capital has a lot of reputational risk and things like that, so they have to be really careful what they offer, and this is what I've been looking for. I'm looking for someone who has something to lose, to explore all the yield products and bring something that's as low risk as possible. As I've said before, you can have your 10% yield. I'll give away 4 or 5% of the yield in order to have something that's safe. And that's what I'm waiting on. I haven't held my XRP for all this time for no reason. So I've positioned myself with iTrust Capital's free institutional custody. They are a partner of mine. You can go and open an IRA and a premium custody account, and you just heard it from the man, the CEO of iTrust Capital, yield's coming, and I can't wait. If you haven't opened an account, you can go to itrustcapital.com/XRPArmy, like I did, or I didn't go to that to open my account, but it didn't exist then. Also, I wanted to let everybody know, I think they've updated the promo code. I'm gonna have to look at that. But anyway, I'll get you the new promo code. But go to itrustcapital.com/XRPArmy and go get your XRP safe, free institutional custody. Now, the market got hit big time yesterday, and we're going to put things in perspective before we go over some of the Swell stuff. COVID crash, 1.2 billion in liquidations. FTX crash, 1.6 billion in liquidations. Today, 2.1 billion in liquidations. I saw this tweet. This is one of the best tweets I've seen about how I think about the markets. This will go down in history as the great shakeout of 2025, and I'd like to offer some perspective, some positivity, hope for people in the crypto market. Lots of people are clearly hurting now. We've been delivered multiple punches recently, and lots of people are showing signs of losing faith, some partially and some altogether. Losing money is painful, but without a doubt, it's an emotional game. Do bear in mind that everything is only ever a paper win or loss until you've actually sold. The greatest victims in this market are those who think they can outsmart or guess where the market's going by leveraging and long shorting the market. Trading with leverage in crypto, in the crypto market, is financial suicide. Just stop it. It's the fastest way for people to destroy their chances within what is the greatest wealth accumulation opportunity of all time. I've always remembered what Raoul Paul positioned on it. Leveraging has always been a key part of Real Vision's "Don't F This Up" thesis, and today those words couldn't be more abundantly clear. Lots of people are crying about market manipulation, yet they're out there placing leverage, long and short positions. It's not a bit like is this not a bit like a poker game, letting everyone know what your cards are before they lay their hands? All we're doing is allowing the exchanges, market makers, the institutions, whales to enter the market with far greater financial power to counter positions and liquidate them, which is what is repeatedly happening. I have no idea how people do not recognize this. For everyone who are shouting at the market is over, or sitting there fearing as much, just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. We are on the verge of a solid rate cut cycle. Trillions of dollars debt across the world need to be refinanced. QT is about to end, which will be followed by QE. Massive liquidity is going to be flooding in. The entire global monetary system is in the process of being migrated on-chain. No bear market has ever been born out of fear. It comes from peak euphoria, which we clearly haven't even touched. We have key regulatory acts that are on the cusp of being announced. Financial institutions are buying crypto. Actual countries are buying cryptos. ETFs are being approved. We're in the glorious position to be able to take part in this great financial revolution of all time. Let that sink in. The reality is the crypto space has never, ever looked this bullish before. And we are seeing now, what we're seeing now will go down as the greatest shakeout. Don't become a victim of it. I've always said the key to maximizing gains in this market is to buy solid utility projects, real fundamentals that will attract adoption. Buy with conviction, hold, and do nothing. That you get the gist of it. And then Raoul Paul came in and also had a good one. I know no one wants to hear bullish ideas. Everyone's scared and wants to fling poo at each other. But the road to Valhalla is getting very close. If global liquidity is the single most dominant macro factor, then we must focus on that. Remember, the only game in town is rolling $10 trillion in debt. Everything else is a sideshow. This is the game of the next 12 months. Currently, the government shutdown has forced a sharp tightening of liquidity as the TGA builds up with nowhere to spend it. This is not offset by the ability to drain reverse repo. It's drained. And QT drains it further. This is hitting markets. However, as soon as the government shutdown ends, the Treasury begins spending $250 to $350 billion in a couple of months. QT ends, balance sheet technically expands. Dollar will likely begin to weaken again as liquidity begins to flow in. Tariff negotiations will have largely been completing, removing uncertainty. Ongoing bill issuance increases, adding more liquidity via bank balance sheets and money market funds. Ongoing rate cuts. We will have economic weakness from the shutdown that will add to the evidence that rate needs to come lower. SLR changes free up banks' balance sheets, allowing for more credit expansion. The Clarity Act will get passed, giving crypto regs so desperately needed large-scale adoption by banks, asset managers, businesses overall. Big beautiful bill then kicks in to goose the economy into the midterms. The entire system is now being geared towards a strong economy and strong market in 2026 after the elections. China will continue to expand its balance sheet. Japan will strengthen the yen, also physically stimulate. Always remember, don't F this up. Rules. Wait out the volatility. Drawdowns like this are commonplace in bull markets. Their job is to test your faith. When this number, okay, whatever. You get the picture. Now, let's go into Swell. Probably the most significant thing I heard from Swell was when the Canary Capital CEO Stephen McClurg, I think I said his name right. He says, looking forward to launching the XRP next week. So it's coming next week, folks. He and Hunter Horsley from Bitwise were on stage. And to me, they were the real highlight of yesterday.
Traditional financial services and crypto are finally coming together. The space has been around for so long, and they've almost been two separate worlds. And I think here at Swell and in general in 2025, they're connecting. And we see that in our business at Bitwise too. And I think it's one of the most exciting years for the space. Traditional financial services and crypto are finally...
Okay, you have that. And then this was him as well.
Everyone should be unbelievably excited.
After XRPL and XRP are over 13 years old, the crypto space is maybe 15 years old. It's all happening now. This space for the first time is going mainstream in 2025. Part of going mainstream means that there are people coming on board, incredible institutions here at Swell who are building services, integrating, but they're mainstream by definition because they're doing other things also. And that means for them, a month is super fast, a quarter is fast. And so I think in the crypto space, the timeframes that people are familiar with are just getting pushed out. And there's a little bit of relearning how to interpret the news flow as a byproduct. But I will unequivocally say we've been around for 7-8 years now. I have never seen it feel as inevitable as it does right now in this year that crypto is arriving to update the financial system and will be a mainstream asset class.
There you go. Now, this was Stephen McClurg. I don't think he says it here, but this is a great clip.
Really, the way to think about XRP is to think about the XRP ledger. And what that is financial rails. Think about it as a competition to the financial system, a competition to Wall Street. It's the rails and the ecosystem that will help drive global payments. One of the reasons why I got into crypto, by the way, was I was an emerging market bond manager years and years ago. And one of the things that I noticed in trading bonds and analyzing sovereign countries is the number of remittances that go back to certain countries. Some countries are massive. And the charges, the fees that are on top of people going overseas, working hard, sending money back to their family, and they're getting taken for anywhere between 8 to 15%.
Okay, now this is an interesting clip. Sal Gilberti, who is from Ethereum ETF, who does the Ethereum 2x XRP ETF, a leveraged ETF. His takeaways were interesting. Ray Fuentes had interviewed
visions and making things happen in the industry.
And was there any key takeaways or notables, information that left an impression on you as we were concluding day one?
Definitely. I think the two things that jumped off the page at me are, one, I believe I heard the Canary CEO say that their Ripple physical ETF, their token ETF, 33 Act ETF, will come out on November 13th. I think I heard him say that. And that was on stage, so it's not a secret. And I did hear Citibank predict that within 5 years, tokenized assets would be in the trillions of dollars. Those two things jumped out.
Interesting. That.
And then there was another good clip from him right here. Watch this.
20 Coinbase had IPO'd. And so there's a lot of synergies that we see in the public versus the privates, or what we see in the market versus traditional TradFi versus this DeFi landscape. What are your thoughts?
A lot of synergies, a lot of coincidences, but there really aren't any coincidences. I think the last half of November is a very big time for XRP. I do. Ripple and XRP.
Is there any...
You're darn right. Now, I'm going to play you this, then we'll go into the group. Okay, so what this is the G Treasury CEO, Renee Verek. I'm sorry, Renee, I think I butchered your name. That's part of this channel. Okay, but he's talking about how his clients, now remember, Ripple just bought G Treasury. He's talking about how his clients want to be able to move $50 million. So that reminded me of something. Long time ago, Michael Arrington just happened to talk about how moving $50 million in XRP made his life easier. So I put the two clips together. If you've never heard that Michael Arrington clip, you're not going to want to miss this.
And one of the clients there said, look, I'm too scared about crypto. And then I said, well, what if we could give you a product that moves your money in minutes? Mm-hmm. And he immediately connected that to, I have 2 subsidiaries in Europe that are holding 50 million extra cash because they're worried about their payments in 3 or 5 days of settlement. I could free up 50 million and create yield. If you could bring that to me, I'm ready.
It's fantastic. It fills a big need. And for a hedge fund like us to be able to denominate in Ripple and XRP, I just did the same thing, is really, really, really good. When we did our first close, we moved north of $50 million into the company in Ripple and XRP in like 2 seconds, and it cost 30 cents. Now that is amazing. There's no way to do that with fiat or Bitcoin. There's just no way to do it that fast and that cheaply, and so it serves a really useful need for us. And then also when our LPs eventually redeem, hopefully never, but when they want some of the money back, we just send it in XRP again, and there's no 3-day wait for international wires or 1-day wait for US wires. We're not paying wire fees and all that. It's just, I don't understand why that's hard to understand.
I don't either. I think the world's about to find out how easy that is to understand. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these videos. If you'd rather join through X, hit subscribe. We do the full video, plus the extended video with no commercials. And today, I got a lot more that I'm going to cover from tomorrow's Swell. From yesterday's Swell. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.